Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to wondershare. Today I'm going to be building yet another apartment. I think it's been like three or four at this moment. Truth is that I haven't really played in any other world except for some myshuno, and I have basically I think I'm unconsciously creating a save file. I mean, before I started the gameplay, of my current save. I just wanted something new and I wanted to really explore some Myshuno because I realized that I hadn't done that much exploration, but then it kind of spiraled, and now I'm building houses for other sims that are affiliated with my main sim. So anyway, this house is kind of, if we're considering a series, it's going to be the third in the series. I built two previous apartments that I'm going to link. Um, I'm going to put a card. And I built two, one for my main sim, her name is Marcy, and one for Marcy's best friend, her name is Yumi. So in the previous videos, I did mention, at least the ones that I did, the one I did a voiceover for, I did mention that there were three of them that are very close in that unit. So the third one is Julia. Julia is actually um, a, a pre-made sim. She came with the university pack, and she's pretty, like, she's one of the ones that is on the cover of the pack. Um, but anyways, Julia is who is one of is oh my god, I just had a brain fart. Anyways, Julia is going to be one of the residents of this apartment. Now this is a much bigger and much um wealthier apart. I don't know what else to call it, but it's a bit better in the location and in the way that it's furnished because these are more established. Well, not necessarily more established, more like they have very well paying jobs. But I'm gonna get into that in a minute. The other residents of this apartment are two of my sims. Well, no, not two. One of my sim, and one is also a pre-made sim. Her name is Becca. She's Julia's best friend, also on the cover of the university pack. And the three of them are going to be living here. Now, this happened accidentally. In another save file that I had, the third sim, her name is Ali, met Julia and Becca in university, and they became really close. Like, they became lifelong friends in that save file. And I really loved the way um, their dynamic worked. So I decided that for all of my saves, where Julia and Becca are going to be involved, Ali is also going to be one of them as three best friends rather than two. Now, for Julia and Becca, it's kind of iffy on how they met. I was looking at the Sims wiki, and apparently there's quite a few different narrations on how they met. The one I'm sticking with though is the one that is on the gallery. If you open their gallery profile, whatever, it says that they met when they were childhood friends. Basically, they went to the same university, and they just became very good friends. So I'm sticking with that because I want the story for Ali to be that Ali met them after university, as I have played previously, and they just really clicked and became very close, all three of them, and they became lifelong friends. So that's kind of like the overview of what's going on. I do plan to play uh, rotationally with them. I still am focusing mainly on my sim, Marcy, but because Marcy is one of Julia's best friends, I imagine that she's also going to meet Ali and Becca pretty soon. They haven't actually met yet, but I imagine that she's going to meet them pretty soon, and I don't know how that friendship is going to go, but I, because she's very close with Julia, so we'll see what happens. Well, I'll see. But yeah. Anyways, going back to the build, you can see that I have basically figured out the layout and um the rooms and the wallpaper and all of that. While I was giving you that narration, it did take a while. Uh, for various reasons to figure it out. I intended to cut this part of while I was figuring out because I went through quite a few different wallpapers and flooring options before deciding on what to go with. Now for the rooms, I almost always give my Sims distinctive colors just to know who's who and what it makes it easier. Just to assign certain colors to certain themes. I know that whatever they do, this is the color that matches with them. I kept the main wallpaper of the apartment pretty neutral because I imagine that that's how they rented it, and maybe their landlord is very generous with them decorating the rooms and everything, but they decided to keep a cohesive main area. So whenever anyone visits, it looks clean, it looks polished, it looks like there's very neat people living here. And then I try to insert um, bits about their lives into the rooms so you know more about who is living or who's sleeping where. Now, I'm just going to mention this apartment is 122 Hakim House, I believe. Um, it's in San Myshuno. But anyways, it's a historical site apartment. I don't know if you've noticed. There's three of those plaques that you can't remove, in the apartment and in the house challenge or house trait or whatever. It says that it's a place of history. So that black thing that is on the wall behind the curtain is blocking one of the historical plaques. Now I basically used walls to cover the three of them because I don't care for them. And because I couldn't remove them, I just decided to hide them. But anyways, going back to the rooms, I decided to make it in a way that, or before I talk about the rooms, the way I furnish, the way that I found is very easy for me, especially with doing this apartment, is to place down all of the furniture and all of the main things that I need for each room. Then I go back and clutter as much as I want to. But for each of the room, I decided to um, arrange. First, I'm going to talk about Julia's room because she's the one with the ensuite, the purple room. Julia, after her university, I think she did physics. I know it was kind of sciencey what she did. I actually can't remember any of the courses, but anyways, I think she did physics. So after her university, she got a job as an astronaut. Probably it's science. She goes to space basically. So because she goes to space, I imagine that she's not always in the house because she's always on one interstellar trip or another. So her room is pretty bare in terms of cluttering. I go back and add a few more items, but not a lot because she's not always there. And I made it so our room is a lot less cluttered than the other girls are going to be. For Becca's room, I assigned her the color yellow, and green, although I don't think I put a lot of green in the room now thinking about it. But anyways, Becca is a writer. I think she did literature, whatever course she did, she's a writer. And she's pretty high up in the career level now. And so I made her a writer's room basically. She has like a corkboard of ideas and books and just books everywhere. And then for Ali is she did art history. So I wanted to make her an art critic, but then I discovered that she makes even more money doing the style influencer. Yeah, the style influencer job. So she is a style influencer. She still is an artist, and I imagine that she has like exhibitions of her art that she puts in museums for people to buy them. But her main job would be a style influencer, and she puts out basically, I imagine she's like Insta famous, like a model or an influencer, basically. So her room is very, very cluttered. I think more so because of the wallpaper that I chose, and I really like the wallpaper. I imagine that she painted them. She painted that wallpaper herself, or she painted the wallpapers in each of the rooms herself, as kind of decorating it. So that's basically the characters. I try to reflects that in the way that the rooms are decorated. Going back to the main areas, this kitchen, as I'm sure you can see. I decided to clutter the kitchen quite a bit. I'm sure there is a space free for cooking. I'm like 75% sure. Speaking of, I didn't or haven't yet play tested this at the point of recording. So I'm pretty sure that everything should be functional. But again, don't take my word for it because it's not play tested. Anyways, I made a tea coffee station and I just tried to they like drinks, basically, is what I try to imply here. And I just put quite a few other things around to signify that it says lived in, because I imagine for both Becca and Ali, they work from home a lot because Becca's a writer and Ali is a style influencer artist. So she usually paints in her room or maybe she creates style looks and stuff. She doesn't really go to work as much as she does it in her house is what I imagine. So I try to make it look lived in, still neat because I believe Ali is in it same. I, I, I think so. But anyways, I try to make it neat that shows that there's people living here, but they're not pigs, you know. Yeah, then the living room tour is very simple in the way that it's cluttered. I try to make it again like seem like all of them came to a decision to pick certain items and probably they couldn't agree on wallpapers and stuff for the kitchen and the living room, so they left it the way it was. I'm sure you'll notice also that I have kind of like bump outs in walls in the middle of the room. I did that partly because I didn't know what to do with such large space and I didn't want it to just, be vast and empty and not have anything there. So I decided to add a feature. I have been watching apartment tour videos, all of those really high rise New York apartments that cost a fortune. And most of them, or a lot of them, seem to have these bump outs in front of the windows. I saw one that was of a gorgeous apartment, and in front of the most beautiful view, and there was one stupid giant pillar right in front of the window. It was so, I'm not sure who designed that, but I don't know who approved of that. But anyways, I got inspired by that, and I decided to use those in those apartments. One of those pillars, the one at the back of the living room, is actually blocking another of the historical plaques, and the third historical plaque is blocked by the fridge and the cabinet on top of it. But going back, I decided to also make those bump outs stone. I just feel like it makes it a bit more sophisticated when you see just all white wall with stone and you know that this is a very expensive apartment, but because the residents are making good money, I think Ali makes about 400 simoleons per hour at her job. And Becca and I just forgot her name, Julia, make about 200 and something in their jobs, so they make pretty good money. I decided to give Julia the ensuite uh, bedroom because I feel like she has to get up at odd hours to get ready, and my fire alarm just started beeping. I need to change the battery. But anyways, if that comes through the recording, I apologize. But anyways, I believe I can't remember what was also. Oh yeah, the reason I gave Julia the ensuite was because I believe she would have to, maybe sometimes she gets called for a space mission by like 3 a.m. and then she doesn't want to disturb her roommate and they also don't want to be disturbed, so they decide to give her the ensuite. The room is significantly smaller than the other rooms, but it has a bathroom of its own, so I think that balances it out. And then for the other bathroom, I made both bathrooms have like a nook for a shower. And for the second bathroom, the not the ensuite one, initially I made it a shower and I made quite a long sink area, but then I decided to give it a bath as well because it just makes sense. I didn't like that both bathrooms only had showers, so I rearranged it a little bit, and you would see it in a bit that it has a tub as well. Did I say sink before? I can't remember. But anyways, this is Julia's bathroom. Again, it's very minimally cluttered. I think both bathrooms actually are very minimally cluttered because this is from my own experience. I don't like a lot of things in my bathrooms. And sometimes when I'm building, I will clutter up a lot in the bathroom. But usually I like art. I like even in my personal bathroom, I don't have my toothbrush in there because germs, and I've read quite a few things that indicate that it's not very healthy to have it there. So I don't have it there. But this is a game. Um, but but anyways, yeah, the bathrooms are minimally cluttered. I made sure to include a robe and towels and basic things that you need there, but nothing more than that. Not in the way that I would before. Also, yeah, this is Julia's bedroom. I try to again signify that she doesn't stay there as much. And I was trying to save on the closet situation, so I gave them kind of a built-in wall closets. I mean, I gave Julia and Ali. Becca doesn't have one. She has a cabinet situation. I debated giving her two, one small one and one long one, but it just didn't fit in the way that I wanted it to, so I discarded that idea. But Ali does have the wall closets and also a cabinet. Is it called cabinet, like a drawer situation? Because Ali again is a style influencer, and she's gonna have a lot of clothes, I imagine. Even in the previous save that I played her in, where she was my main sim, I can't remember what she did, but she was very fashionable in the way that I dressed her. So Ali's backstory, I realize I'm jumping from points. I just talk as the points as they come to my head, basically. But Ali's backstory that I did before she came to the university is kind of like she is queer, and when she told her family that they kicked her out, so she wondered about for a bit, but eventually decided to go to university where she met um, Becca and Julia. That's the backstory that I gave her, and that's what I'm sticking with because I really like it. And in the way that, in the way that I played her previously, it made sense with the way the story progressed. I don't know if that's going to be the same here. I might change it, but that's the one that I'm sticking with for now. This is the second bathroom, and you would have seen that I came in and rearranged the sink situation to make a bath happen. I also put a laundry um in the second bathroom. I tried to find somewhere else to put it, but nothing was working, so it's fine. I guess to put it there. Laundry is quite annoying for me in the sense what I wish would happen is that they don't pile up, or when they do, like the Sims do it immediately and not just stay there and then complain of wearing dirty clothes. Like, why do I have to make you do the laundry every single time? It's very annoying. But anyways, I think I don't know how long this video is. I think it's about 25 minutes. Probably not, but I'm talking a lot. I'm trying to think of something else to say. This is the entryway. The entryway is kind of weird for me because this is much larger than I usually do for my entryways, especially for an apartment. But again, because this was a luxurious apartment, I wanted it to be more, I wanted to give that, and not just have a tiny entryway. So I put a shoe rack, I put a wall of pictures, I put an ottoman, a table, and this wall decorations. To be honest, not I wasn't 100% for these wall decorations when I placed them down. It just seemed a bit, but I guess they have to find a place to hang their bags and certain stuff, so it's fine, I guess. Um, what else? Yeah, I gave Becca the Coach trunk because I couldn't find where to put. I didn't like how the taller ones were looking with the cabinet I put there, so I gave her the Coach one. I think it makes more sense. Um, I thought that when I feel like I'm saying I think a lot. But anyways, I figured that she would go on book tours. I imagine that she is a pretty successful author, and I even gave certain awards and like framed accolades and stuff like that to signify that fact that she is pretty well known. I think she is level 8 of the writing career, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I wanted it to be a book lover's room, and she has this tapestries and stuff that she probably got from wherever she went to do book tour for her recent release, is what I imagined. So this is her room. It's very light. It's almost beachy, I think, in the way that it's decorated, and although it is cluttered, it is still pretty neat. I feel like they do after themselves in their environment a lot, and they don't like a lot of clutter on certain things. But yeah, this is Ali's bedroom. Ali's color is pink. She likes pink. I don't know why I made her like pink. I personally don't like pink, but I'm not Ali. Anyways, she likes pink. I really love the color of that wood with the pink and the room. I think everything was just cohesive. And for all of the rooms, I tried to make it so, but I think this one really worked in the way that it was decorated. I gave her a desk as well. I gave her a drawing tablet, and I also gave her a laptop. I figured she would need a laptop because of maybe she's trying to organize, or not sure what's it, the gallery stuff, for art. Maybe she's trying to an exhibition. That's the word. Maybe she was trying to organize an exhibition for art. She'd need a laptop to book that and communicate with her emails and stuff. The only person I didn't give a laptop was Julia, again, because I imagine that she's not at home often to use the laptop. Or maybe she is. Maybe I will get her one to put in her inventory so she can just pop it out whenever she needs to use it. Now, you see that painting that I put on the desktop drawers? That's not what I wanted. I had to search really hard to find the actual painting that I wanted for that situation. I imagine that Ali painted that and just used it as wall decoration. I imagine that for any painting that looks painted in this apartment was done by Ali to put in her apartment. I gave her a little easel at the side there, and I imagine that she put her paint supplies inside the closet. I didn't know where to place them, but her room is very cluttered with art because she's an artist. I just love how the art and the very busy wall just fits together. But that's all about the room. I did go around and add more decorations. Like these are the awards that I'm talking about for Becca. I did try to add a little bit more clutter, but I wanted it to remain relatively clean and neat. So I give these people a full dining table. I don't usually do that for my apartments, especially the smaller ones, because it's usually hard to play. Well, not hard. I just don't see why you would need a dining table for a space that's small. But I imagine those people are going to be very well, not friendly, but they have a lot of people that they can invite over. So they're going to host gatherings and parties, and I wanted there to be enough space for that to happen. The kitchen itself is large, but the counters and stuff is small. um I just because I wanted the dining space. We are just going around and adding a few extra details like lighting, and I debated on the lighting a bit. I decided to put string lights in the kitchen. I just thought it looked cool. I debated on the living room lighting a little bit more, but yeah, I'm going to end this right here now and um take you to the tour, and I will see you on my next Sims video. Bye.